Look who's back. Back
Hello.
again. Terry's back. Tell your friends. I'm just feeling a little bit of Eminem there. Terry, how are
Yeah,
you, man?
I'm doing really good.
How was your time away?
Absolutely wonderful. But I missed you guys. I really did.
I was that because that was the question I was going to ask you. You stole my question before I could even ask it. See, you are the one that's hacking into my computer.
That's right. I am.
Indeed. But I do want to say thank you to Jared for filling in for you. He did a
Yeah.
fantastic job.
Yeah.
Left us with a great prize on Thursday. He hit a really nice pick four at the end. I think it was like $600 for 50 cents.
Yeah.
If you had played his prime rib. So way to go on that, Jared. We appreciate that. Looking forward to having him back. And I have to say, too, that a couple of things having Jared on kind of made me think over the weekend and work a little bit harder on my game. He was big on picking shots, right? He likes to play prices.
Oh yeah, and he had a big one in that first leg of the first pick four. His second choice paid over $70, $79, I think.
Hey, Charles, what's happening today? Yeah, and that race full of maidens he did, he just went basically all the longest prices, and the maidens in the longest price won. So that's a pretty, and I've seen that happen a couple of times. So, but one of the things it made me do is try to figure out how to pull more prices into my pick. So I'm going to warn everybody today. I tried something a little bit different today than I have in the past. I'm trying to mix the regular handicapping and trying to maybe augment maybe some of the horses that are a little bit farther down in my rankings, but not by much. But there's enough value in taking the higher price to offset maybe a little lower ranking, if that makes sense. So it's either going to be probably they'll all end up being favorites, but it's going to be one of those days. I feel like if I hit, it could be something nice today, Terry.
Yeah, I think it might work out. You'll have to see. So
thank you. And we hope to find some. A lot of winners today. So before we move on, Terry, did you see some of those big races on the weekend where horses were competing for the Kentucky Derby points, basically wrapping up the Kentucky Derby Trail, minus a few points this weekend at the Lexington?
Absolutely did. The one at Kingland Park, the 9th race on Saturday, my pick of the day, Zandon, won and paid $620, $320, and $240. So,
well, which horse do you feel was the most impressive?
For me, it was Zandon. The way he fished through all of that traffic trouble, and still came up to win. Yeah, that was a pretty impressive race. I was really happy about it.
What did you think about that horse popping? What's it, Tabia 100 in its first route at?
Yeah, that was also
pretty, at Santa Anita.
Pretty fantastic. He beat that hard favorite. I forget the name.
It was Messier, yes.
Messier, yeah. And I think you picked I think
Tom had him on top. I had him second. Yeah. I honestly feel like, and I'm not a big conspiracy guy at all, but those are both Yak-Teen horses, right? Along with the two horse. And it sure looked to me, and maybe I have to watch the video again, but I didn't feel like the jockey on the two horses really asking for, really asking for Messier to give him everything he has at the end. It kind of looked to me like he said, okay, that's good enough, young fella. That if you really would have hit him harder, maybe I'm wrong on this. What do you guys think? Did you see the same thing I did? Like a little bit of a at the end of the race where Tabia went by.
Yeah, he looked fantastic. Yeah.
Yes, so, off-track special Zandon if they can get into that race.
Yeah, right now Zandon's my favorite for the Kentucky Derby. So
is it? I don't know. The Bluegrass Stakes, the horses don't really perform well in the Kentucky Derby.
That may be true, but
I think the Santa Anita Derby, the Florida Derby, the Arkansas Derby, that's where you're likely to find your Kentucky Derby winner. But we will find out in less than 3 weeks from this Saturday. So we'll find out what happens there. All right, Terry, what we're going to try to find out today is if your vacation, your handicapping skills are still on vacation, or if they're coming back off a little R&R sharp and ready to go, my friend.
That's right.
So the first race today is a 5.5 furlong maiden claiming $3,500 race. And if we take a look at maiden claiming on at 5.5 furlong races at Turf Paradise, mind you, folks, that there haven't been any scratches yet when Terry and I got all of our stuff finalized. So there might be some scratches later on. But as it stands right now, these are our picks. There's been 5.5 furlong races, 89 of them, 74 of which were won by speed. So you got to be fast. I mean, what's new down there at Turf Paradise? 38 of the 89 ran wire to wire. You have a slight penalty if you get the rail, and there is a small edge if you wear it 4 to 7, but otherwise everything is pretty fair, Terry. So I'm coming out of this box Monday just swinging. Coming with my long shot, number 3, a horse you don't even have in your picks. But again, like I said, I've altered my selection process a little bit to pull more prices into my selections. And Tequila Rita, it's a drinking game, so might as well get Tequila Rita right on the top. Tied for the biggest drop last time out, ran in a maiden claiming 10,000, now dropping to 35K. Solid 4 furlong improvement in the last. And the resume says that Tequila Rita will be better in round 2 off the bench. So I'm starting out right away, Terry. I think this horse is 8-1 morning line.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right about that. So,
all right. So why don't you have the 3, or better yet, tell us what you do have?
Well, I like in that first race, number 6, Nocton. She finished second versus Tougher in her last race after taking a 1.5 month break and got the highest last speed rating. And she drops in class today. And then number 5, Stormy Gale. She ran poorly in her last race after veering out at the start, but she has finished in the money 33% of the races during her career, and she drops in class today, and the trainer wins 18% of the time when his entry has been off 46 to 90 days. And then number 4, Critical Condition. She finished for third versus Tougher in her last race, drops in class today too, has a good workout on April 1st. And then number 1, Fully Compliant. She finished third versus Tougher in her last race and then took a 10-month break. But she's got a very good workout on April 1st of 47 handling, 14th best out of 56.
Well, I told you why I like the 3 as my long shot of the day. Right behind it, I have the 6 horse, just like you do, Terry. Knock On has a pair of decent workouts since its last race and is taking a small drop in class. So maybe the class relief, little fitter, little firmer coming into the spot with some workouts. Number 4, Critical Condition, increased the speed figures, 3 consecutive races in a row. And this is a horse that made a pretty big mid-move last time out. And the mid-move is very important in these shorter races. That's the turn. So the old-timers will tell you, turn, 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 watch the turn for number 4, Critical Condition. And then number 5, Stormy Gale is the other horse that drops from $10,000 last time out. Does have some early pace in the field that lacks the giddy up and go when the gates open, Terry.
Yep.
Race number, thanks, by the way, Charles, for pointing that out. I thought I caught all of the Jared pieces, but I guess I missed one. Number 2 is another, race 2 is another 5.5 furlong affair. This one, though, is claiming 8,500 non-winners of 3 lifetime for a purse of $14,140. I'm always curious where the 140 comes from. Why not just make it even 14? But nonetheless, again, speed wins. You have a fair post positions, except if you wear an 8 or out, Terry. So I started off with a long shot. Like I said, I'm coming out swinging, coming out with the best bet right here in race number 2. That is number 5, Mischief Mama. This horse was better across the board in its last race, and today switches to the top jockey at the track, Harry Hernandez, who, by the way, will be a guest on our Horse Center pretty soon. Trainer Dan McFarland wins at 36% for 4 out of 11, so not a big number of races, but still a big number of wins when he goes to a claim repeater versus 16% overall. So keeping horses in the claiming ranks for Dan McFarland is a high alpha angle. You like the 5 too.
I do. And here's the girls again. I like the 5, Mischief Mama. She won her last race at Turf Paradise and received the highest last speed rating. And the trainer wins, as you said, 36% of the time when he brings back a horse that won its last race, claiming race. And the jockey, as you were talking about, has been on fire. He's won 17 out of 29 races.
Yeah, when that guy comes out, they have fire extinguishers by him. The dude's been
That's right.
Yeah.
And then my second pick is number 1, Brio is Awesome. She has been competing in sprints in California and tries Turf Paradise for the first time. She switches to a high percentage winning jockey, and the trainer wins 42% of the time in the second start with the turn. Her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. Then I like number 2, Kit Kat. Just
we all like Kit Kats.
Yeah, it's like a candy bar there.
Yeah, do you like the left one or the right one? No, that's Twix, right? That's not that right one right there.
I like these are the 4 that you break apart. Anyway,
do you break them apart or you just eat them like in whole?
No, I break them apart. I like to savor them. So she won a race at Turf Paradise, and then in the next race, she broke slowly and was squeezed, finishing a disappointing race. She has a decent workout on March 9th. 5 furlongs, 101 and change, 4th best out of 10. And then I like number 4, Drop In. She ran second versus similar in the last race, and the trainer wins 20% of the time in sprints, and the jockey in the last 7 days has a record of 26 starts. He has, 15 in the money and 8 wins.
So we started off with number 5, Mischief Mama, as the best bet of the day. I'm going to follow that up with number 4, Drop In. That horse was much better at the end of her last outing, and this is one that's increased her speed figure 3 consecutive races in a row. I think one of the key factors for her success today will be shortening up 1 furlong today versus last time out. Number 6, Blue Jasami. Last win was at Turf Paradise. Loves the distance. Run at the distance 5.5 furlongs 5 times. Has a win, 2 seconds, and a third. And in the last race, showed some stronger internal numbers. So those stronger internal numbers should translate to a better race today. Finally, Brio is awesome. This is a horse making the second start off the claim for trainer Mary Tate, who's won 4 out of 7 like that. That's a pretty big angle. Not a lot of races, but still a pretty successful angle so far. 43% of the time, and that is a $1 ROI on the horse. So not only that, but it's a positive ROI. And in the money, 3 out of 4 at the distance. So Mary Tate's got a whole lot going on with Brio is awesome. I mentioned that Harry Hernandez, Terry, is going to be a guest at some point in the near future. I know Sean's working on that for the Horse Center show, which again comes back tonight at 8:00. I know Sean's all fired up somewhere. And I know Blake is going to be like, is Terry on? Is Terry on? Is Terry on? See, Terry gets the high Q scores, in the crew. He's a likable guy, right? The rest of us aren't so likable, I suppose. But tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have on trainer Jorge Delgado, talk a little bit about, how he does things down there in Florida, right? He's at Gulfstream Park. And to see, what he likes about the championship meet, what he likes about the current meet. So make sure you check in for that. That'll be tonight at 8 p.m. on Horse Center. If you got any questions for Jorge, make sure you let us know on the chat, in YouTube, or you can send them directly to me at GTSRichB@gmail.com. Of course, now I'm on Twitter, Terry, at HRT Rich, so you can check that out over there. I don't really have a whole lot to say. I put 3 baseball plays out there, including your Giants, and they all lost. So is it too early to hate baseball?
No, not really, because then they came back and won the next day. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, when I pick them, they lose. So I hate your Giants, Terry. So I'm going to just stick to horse. I'm just going to stick to horse racing, and I don't know what else I'll talk about because I'm going to put some new ideas out there. All right. So anyway, race number 3, Terry. We're back 6 furlongs, made an optional claiming $30,000, a purse of $21,700, Terry. If we look at this 6 furlongs and get used to this one, so pay attention to race number 3 because it's first of many 6 furlong races. 148 of them. 111 won by speed, 53 of 148. So a pretty good chunk going wire to wire. If you wear 1 through 7, everything is pretty fair. If you wear an 8+, you get a small penalty. As you can see, I don't view it as a deal killer, Terry, but you got some first-time starters mixed in here with some experienced horses, and I'm all about buckets. So I kind of split my buckets up a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like you did there. So, well, I like in this race, and these are the boys, of course. I like number 4, Coastal King, and he's knocking at the door, running second in his last 3 races. And if he can get a speed rating of 75 or better, he should win this race.
Knocking.
Yeah, that's right. He has a trainer who wins 32% of the time when he brings a beaten favorite back to the race again. And his best dirt speed is the fastest among today's starters, actually tied with another one. Then number 7, Memo Lot Sam is Chief. That's a long name.
What?
I think that's what it says.
Excuse you.
He finished third versus similar than last race, and he has plenty of early speed to lead the race to a win and a decent workout on April 1st of 47-1, handling 17 best of 56. And then number 6, St. Pius. His dam has one winner from one starter. The trainer wins 40% of the time in dirt starts, and the breeding suits to today's distance. This jockey in the last 17 days, as we've been talking, has been doing
he's
really
setting off fire alarms every room he walks in. That's how hot he's been. Indeed.
That's right.
Yes,
he's been 22 times in the money out of 29 races, and he won 17 of those.
That's smoking.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to do that on my betting.
Contest in your betting. Yeah, just bet him, and that's it. And you will have done that. Make that your betting strategy.
Yeah. So number 3, Dark and Handsome. That's you, right? He has not raced.
Well, just the handsome part. I'm kind of pale right now. It's it's been summery. Just handsome.
No sun out there in Chicago.
Not yet. No.
Well, he has.
I'm like Eeyore. There's clouds constantly following me around.
Just like, what was that, Lionel or whatever?
Eeyore, and when
Eeyore, somebody,
the blue donkey or whatever he was.
Yeah. Well, he has not raced in more than 8 months, but his best dirt speed is past his Monday starters, and he had several good workouts in preparation for this race.
All right, Terry, I feel like you missed something here, my friend.
Okay.
If you look at Poverty Bay, that 8 horse, and you look at those workouts, if those workouts are remotely close to accurate, this horse smokes this field, Terry.
Yeah, he has really good workouts.
I mean, look at those last 2 workouts. I mean, if you look at those last 2 workouts, and that's why I say if they're accurate, because sometimes I wonder if maybe like the clocker missed the button or something, or started a couple seconds late. But in that 8 horse, the last time out at Turf Paradise, so at this track, he ran 33-4 for 3 furlongs.
That's a blistering workout.
Dude, that's fast. That's like, I mean, that's fast. And then, okay, so maybe the clocker hit the button a little late. So the workout before that, the 8 horse ran 4 furlongs in 45-3.
Yeah, another blistering workout.
That's fast. Yeah. That's faster than most of these horses have run in their races.
Yeah, it is.
So if this 8 horse runs those fractions in this race, he's going to win this race, and it ain't going to be close.
Yeah, and you're right. I missed it. So.
All right. Well, I'm not saying you missed it, Terry. I'm just saying you missed it. All right. The next horse for me is the 9 horse, Terry. Again, like I said today, I'm looking for a little better pricing today, and I kind of upgraded some horses that just missed on my rankings. Maybe were 4th or 5th and bounced them up a spot. So I feel like you're going to get better value with the odds. So Red Hurricane, this is a horse that hasn't run since August the 20th. So I'm going to go with the Eddie C angle here. Remember, we had Eddie C on our show. He said one of the things he found that works really well for him is when a horse has a bullet workout, 2 workouts ago, and then follows it up with a maintenance workout. Well, that's what we have here, Red Hurricane. On March the 18th, it did run the fastest of 22 horses, a 59-3 and 5 furlongs. That's a good number. Came back with a pretty good workout next time out, a little better than a minute at 5 furlongs, but still more of a maintenance thing. But then I'm looking at this horse as a $50,000 horse. That horse costs more than the rest of the other horses in the field combined. So they spent a little bit of change on this guy. And when he ran at Emerald Downs and at Albuquerque, Emerald Downs was bet out on the debut, 380, so basically 4-1. And in that Albuquerque Downs, he was the 4-5 favorite. So something kind of must have went wrong in that race. So he hasn't run since then on August the 20th. But I do like the Eddie C angle. I do like the fact that they paid up for this guy. So perhaps he will live up to that price tag. So hold on one second here. So Charles has 2 long shots to play at Parks. And like I said, folks, when Charles talks, he's the E.F. Hutton of horse racing, baby. You better listen.
That's right.
2 long shots at Parks. Race 11, the 4 is money line 15-1, and in the 6, 20-1 in wide open race. Both 1 worth a play if price holds. Good luck. Yeah,
it sounds like a good exacta, where you might use both in trifecta, and then go all in the 3rd leg.
Yeah, he's definitely, Charles, like I said, he's the E.F. Hutton, man. When he talks, you better listen. You remember those commercials? Jared was like, what are you talking about, Terry? But I know you remember those commercials.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, so number 6, St. Pius, first-time starter. You got the top jockey, Harry Hernandez, in here. This is a horse that also has some good workouts, just not as strong as the 8 horse. And then I'm closing it out with your top pick, my fourth pick, Terry. Coastal King did run the top last race speed figure for the experienced horses in this field. Trainer Van Belvoor rebounds at 32% when his horses miss out as the public's choice. That compares to his overall rate of 17%, which, again, I like to see angles that deliver alpha for the trainers. Race number 4, if we move on, Terry, is a little bit of a too much explanation there and all those workouts. Race number 4 is 1 mile on the turf, optional claiming $10,000 for 3-year-olds and up, which have never won a race other than the maiden claiming, starter, state bred allowance, or trial, or which have never won 2 races or a claiming price of $10,000. A lot of conditions there, Terry. Looking at 1 mile on the turf, the profile of a turf paradise miler on the grass. 61 races, 41 won by speed, 18 of which went wire to wire. There is a very strong inside 3 bias here, Terry. And then 8+ is a little bit better than 4 through 7. Take us through your thinking here.
Yeah, these are the boys again. I like number 2, Sly. You know, he tried a 100,000 K race at Sunland Park and didn't have much success, but now he returns to Turf Paradise, where he won his last race at today's distance. And the trainer wins 50% of the time in the second race after claiming a horse. The jockey in the last 7 days, well, we said a lot about Harry Hernandez. And then I like number 6.
We're going to start a fan club.
That's right. Anyway, number 6, TW Skipping Stones. He won his last race at Turf Paradise, and the trainer wins 25% of the time when bringing back the winner of their last race. Then number 1, we're just saying.
Just saying.
Yep. He finished 3rd on the dirt in his last race, earning the highest last speed rating. The rail post is winning a 22% clip, and he has a trainer who in the last 14 days has also been doing really well. He's won 3 out of 6 races. Then I like number 5, No Longer a Hobby. He finished 3rd in his last race after he checked at the quarter pole, and he has a really good trainer and jockey.
Maybe I missed the 2-horse there, Terry, but I like number 6, TW Skipping Stones. Horse is coming off one of his best races, and if you dig through the past performances, it does show that TW Skipping Stone should be better in the second start after a layoff. Number 1, we're just saying, did run the top last race speed figure, gets, as I mentioned, that high percentage rail. And if you look at that late pace number last time out, man, it was just an incredible jump there. So if it can capture a fraction of that, we're just saying should just be flying at the end of the race. 5, No Longer a Hobby. That's kind of how the horse racing today net got started. It was a hobby and started to grow, so it's no longer a hobby. It's a horse that's put together 4 consecutive speed figure increases and one that does seem to prefer to run at 1 mile. It's done it 5 times with a win, 2 seconds, and a third. And then finally, number 3, Many Roses, with just a slight edge over number 2, Sly, and probably because of, like I said, that new factors I'm putting in today to try to capture a little bit more prices. But I'm kind of surprised, Terry, that you don't have this one. You know why?
Why is that?
It's a Golden Gate shipper. I expected this one to be at the top of your list, my friend.
Yeah, you probably did, huh?
Yes, I did. I thought for sure. I was going to write in here Terry's top pick. I'm glad I did. I would have looked foolish now. But it does have a lot of early pace, and there's another one of those horses that should be better in the second start off a layoff. And we've seen a lot of those horses come down from Golden Gate, Terry, and do very well down there at Turf Paradise.
Yeah, they do. They really do good there. So
I'm, like I said, I'm really shocked that wasn't your top pick. So let's move on and race number 4 to now our prime rib, or our hot dog pick for us, Terry. Terry, you came back a new man. You went on vacation, and instead of spending $20, you only spent $16.
That's right. Oh, I decided to get a little bit more, conservative in my betting. So
there you go. So you went 2, 2, 2, and 4 to close it out.
That's right.
And then I went 3, 2, 3, 2, and our hot dog pick 4 again. Terry and I, we're limited to a budget of $20 on the 50-cent pick 4. We have to really discern what we're doing. So Terry's taking an interesting approach, hoping to get through the first 3 legs and then having a lot of coverage at the end. I tried to look through, and I basically looked to see which races I can isolate to 2 horses. I really tried to find a single, but couldn't find one. So I felt like race 2 and 4 were the best options on the top 2 picks, and then trying to hit some prices on races 1 and 3. So hopefully those play out, Terry. What do you say?
Yeah.
So, hey, there's Jared. What's up, Jared? Good to see you again. You're not in person though. You're just got a J there. You got to put your picture on the J there, Jared.
Yeah, I had a great vacation, Jared, and you did a wonderful, absolutely great job as I being in for me. I was afraid I was going to lose my job. You did so well.
Well, we were thinking about that, Terry. But unfortunately, this is not a job. It's all volunteer. You can't fire volunteers, right?
That's true. You can't.
Race, you got to, what is it? The beggars can't be choosy, right?
Yeah.
Race number 5, back to 6 furlongs, Terry. Just a real quick recap profile of a Turf Paradise 6 furlonger on the main track. 148 races, 111 won by speed, 53 taking them from gate to wire. And if you wear 1 through 7, it's pretty fair. But if you get that 8 and up, you got a big time penalty. And this race is kind of interesting to me, Terry, because we only agree on one horse.
Yeah, that's kind of odd, isn't it? So,
well, like I said, Jared inspired me to try to find some more shots. So I'm kind of mixing up my my handicapping a little bit. Stick it to the horses that rate pretty close to the top of my picks, but in those like range from like 3 to 6, maybe 3 to 8. I'm fishing around to try to find some prices because Jared hitting that 35 to 1 shot made me jealous.
Yeah, and I also think this is a really wide open race. It's the 5th race. And I start out with my best top pick is number 4, Cashlings. He ran a disappointing race in his last race after having trouble in the race and coming really wide into the stretch. But the trainer wins 50% of the time when dropping a horse off of a claim. And then number 9, Add-On. He drops in class today. The trainer wins 20% of the time in sprints, and the jockey in the last 7 days has finished in the money 15 out of 26 times, winning 8 of those. Then number 6, Testing the Waters. He finished 8th after coming 8 wide into the stretch, and he drops in class today. The trainer wins 39% or 32% of the time when shipping a horse in to run, and he has a bullet workout on April 5th at Sunland Park, 35-3, best of 7. Then I like number 7, Storming Warrior. He has a high percentage winning trainer and has a jockey who in the last 7 days, as we've said over and over and over, is just on fire, Harry Hernandez.
Yes, he's got the alliteration for a name, Harry and then Hernandez. I like starting off in race number 5, then number 3, Colonel Mike. This horse may have run a pattern that Jared spoke about a little bit last week, and that is the Z pattern. Showed some major 2 furlong improvement, kind of stalled out a little bit in the middle of the part of the race, and then showed some late pace interest and improved off its previous start. Colonel Mike did. So he's the favorite last time out, got beaten. I'm expecting a rebound here. Number 2, Pietaska. Anyway, Pietaska, the 2 horse, did tie for the top last race speed figure, Terry, and did so, and now is dropping in class. So you know how I'm a fan of that top last race speed figure moving down on the competition level. And this time out, you see the horse has a couple of workouts in between, 1 fast one and 1 maintenance work. So I expect the name I can't pronounce to be better in round 2. Rousing Rubble is the other to tie for the top last race speed figure. Trainer Miguel Hernandez. I'm surprised he didn't team up with Harry here. But anyway, he's moving his horse down 2 classes. And when he's done so, he's won 3 out of 8 races so far. And last time out, Rousing Rubble did run some much better fractions than it did early on compared to its previous race. And then finally, number 4, Cashlings. Your top pick is the first time off the claim. That's a 25% winner for the hardest working man in horse racing, James Brown. Ha! Anyway, I'm really the James Brown of horse racing. I am the hardest working man in horse racing. Ain't no question. You got to pay the cost if you want to be the boss. Terry.
That's right. And Jared, yeah, I did watch every day last week. Mm-hmm. And I also, as you did, had a really tough time with Kingland this last week.
Well, Keeneland, that's a tough course, baby, for sure. There's so many horses, so many good horses, and just big, deep fields. One final thing about James Brown, he's dropping his horses down 2 classes. And when he does that, he's been in the money 2 out of 2 times, Terry, with a fantastic ROI of over $10.
What?
That's unbelievable.
Wow,
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that is great. All right. Had a difficult time. Yeah, Keeneland's was a monster over the weekend. Now we're moving on to race number 6, Terry. Back to 6 furlongs again. Speed matters. Post positions are pretty fair, except if you're wearing an 8 or up. This is Terry's return to the box it up. I'm sure you've had plenty of time to think about what horses you wanted to put here, Terry. But again, box it up, the first box it up of the day. 4 horses, $1 exacta box, 50-cent trifecta box, 10-cent superfecta box. Terry, why did you pick this race?
Well, I try to pick the races that don't have anything but a lukewarm maybe favorite, and then the rest of the horses are pretty good pricing. And so in here, the 4, I think the 4 was the lukewarm favorite. And then, so I started off with.
Wait a minute. I have your box it up wrong. Your box it up was last race, Terry.
Oh, it was.
Yes, I think I got that wrong. Yes. So we know why you picked those horses. I apologize, Terry, for messing you up.
Oh, yeah, and I should have looked to check that out. Yeah.
Oh, yes. In any case, that is Terry's box it up. So we can move on to race number 7. We can move on to race number
6. I actually have it as my box it up in my paperwork.
Do you? But it's actually race number 5.
Really?
Yes, because if you look at the names of the horses, I think.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yes. So it wasn't me that screwed up.
Well,
you're still on vacation.
Yeah, the same goes though with my explanation about race number 5, because those were all pretty. Wasn't anything that's going to be a hard favorite, I don't believe. So let's go to number 6. Here's the girls again, and number 4, Eyes for Gold. Is my first pick. She ran second versus similar in last race, has the highest last speed rating, and her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. The trainer wins 32% of the time when bringing a beaten favorite back to race again. And then number 2, Temporarily. She drops in class today and has a trainer-jockey combination who in the last 14 days has won 50% of the races. And then number 5, Curling Blessing. She ran 4th in her last race, and the jockey in the last 7 days has this record: 26 wins and 26 starts and 8 wins. I wish it was 26 wins. Anyway, number 3 is my 4th pick, Kylie's Empire. She ran second versus similar on the turf in the last race, and the jockey is Harry Hernandez again.
Yes, and we've talked plenty about Harry Hernandez today. So for me in this race, Terry, race number 6, which wasn't your box it up, race number 5 was your box it up. Yeah. So race number 6, I do like Kinley's Empire. Last time out, the horse was a little bit better across the board in its internal numbers in the first mount for Harry Hernandez. So second time around, I expect the horse to be better. Horse is also flipping back to dirt from grass. That's a 17% angle for trainer Scott Rollins, who normally wins at 12%. So I think he's trying to find a way to maybe fitten up his horse so that it's a little bit better this time out. Number 4, Eyes for Gold, was the beaten favorite, but still managed to run the top last race speed figure. Trainer Frank Lucarelli does rebound at 33%, and that's across 98 races. The next time around the track with the horse that disappointed as the public's choice. Normally, Mr. Lucarelli only wins at 11%, so he gets a big bump on the beaten favorite angle. Number 8, Stubborn Love. This is a first-time starter, Terry, with some solid workouts. And if you look at trainer Craig Smith, he hits at a pretty high rate the first time out, 21% of the time. So 1 out of 5, his horses, regardless of odds, come home first in their first or their debut run. And finally, number 2, Temporarily, drops from a $75,000 non-graded stakes race. And if you look at that last race, you might pass on it because it looks kind of ugly in the past performances, but it was better than it looked because the fractions were actually similar at 1 mile compared to the previous race at 6 furlongs, which actually means the horse ran faster. I know that sounds crazy, but that's actually how that works. Race number 7, Terry, is indeed my box it up. But before we go on to my box it up, again, 6 furlongs on race number 7. Let's talk about your long shot in race number 7 and why you selected the 8 horse, one I don't even have, in this claiming $3,000 race as your best bet. Your long shot.
Yeah, now this is the boys again, and number 8, Jake the Great. He won his last race at Turf Paradise at a mile and cuts back now to 6 furlongs. I think that can only help. He has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 28% of the time when bringing back a horse who won their last race, and switches to a high percentage winning jockey, which is Harry Hernandez.
Mm-hmm.
Then I like number 6, Parley Street. He took a 2-month break and then ran 5th in his first race back, only losing by 2 3/4 lengths. He followed that up with a bullet workout of April 15th of 36 handling, best of 17. He likes the distance, and he's been in the money 55% of his races during his career. And then number 9, Tres Chilvados. I can't pronounce
something like that. You're close, Terry. Yeah.
Anyway, he has early speed. And may go to the front and try to lead all the way. He has a high percentage winning trainer and likes Turf Paradise.
Mm-hmm. All right, Terry. So this is my box it up. I'm pretty certain about that. And if you notice in that little bit of window, I did fix yours back to race number 5. So this is an accurate reflection of our box it ups. Again, this are 4 horses, $1 exacta box, 50-cent trifecta box, 10-cent superfecta box. And I think Jared actually liked the box it up because he was always talking a little bit about those box it ups. But I'm going to start off with number 6, Parley Street. Horse was better from start to finish with the in-race internals and does have a bullet workout sense. So that tells me the horse is likely to be better in its second start off a layoff. The past performances were a little bit mixed. Sometimes the horse did better in the second race after some time at the barn. Sometimes it didn't do better. Trace Chiflados, Terry. I have no idea what Chiflado is, but I know Trace means 3, I believe.
Yeah.
Trace Chiflados should be on the gas all the way on the track. It is the truest early pace horse in this field. Finished second by a half a length 2 races ago. At the same conditions here at Turf Paradise, only that race was a half furlong longer than this one. So I think the cutback in distance for a horse that should be on the front should be helpful. Number 2, Top Rocket, does have the top last race speed figure, and a claim repeater is a 32% winner for one of the best trainers down there, trainer Justin Evans, who, I mean, he guy wins a lot anyway. He wins about 1/4 of the races he enters horses in, 24%. So stepping that up to 32% is a pretty big number. And then finally, Have a Little Pepper did run some faster fractions in his last, has plenty of juice out of the gates. Just needs to make sure he doesn't burn up too much of that juice early on because it tends to fade a little bit late. But that is my box it up for today, Terry. And again, yours is corrected to race number 5.
That's right.
Yeah, he said he loves the box it ups, Jared, right there, right? So before we go on to the final race of the day, Terry, let's talk a little bit about ways that you can support horseracingtoday.net.
Okay.
One of the easiest ways you can see how good Terry looks, and it's not because he was on vacation. It's because he's sparkling in that HRT blue, baby. You can head on over to horseracingtoday.net. You're going to get a little bit of sun now, Terry, unlike me. Just handsome, but not dark yet. But
I know. I'm pretty white.
The sun's coming. And you were at the beach all week. I mean, how's that possible?
Yeah, it was cold and overcast a lot of the time. So.
But if you head on over to horseracingtoday.net, only 2 days left. You'll save 15% off what you get to support the show. We appreciate it. And that nice number 2, it'll make you look, once you get a little bit of sun, you're going to look fantastic in that white number 2. When you head to the track, you'll also look better and be smarter, right? Be a better handicapper. Of course, right. Those claims have not proven to be true by any FDA type investigation. I could make a vaccine joke there, but I won't. 7.5 furlongs on the turf for race number 8, Terry. Optional claiming $15,000. This is the first time, only time in the last race of the day, we're going to see 7.5 furlongs. There were 48 races, 27 of which were won by speed. 13 went wire to wire. 1 through 7 play fair, but if you catch an 8 and up, which is your second pick, there is a major penalty, Terry. Holy Cross, the 7 horse, is your best bet of the day. And now's your chance to tell us why.
Well, Holy Cross, he finished in the money in his last 4 races, and winning one of those. So he's very competitive. He has a trainer jockey combination who is perfect for the last 14 days, 2 for 2. Then I like number 8, Circle West. He won 2 races in a row at Turf Paradise. Then he took 2 months off and had a good workout on April 3rd for his return of 56-1. And then I like number 3, Give 'em Heck Beck. He ran 4th on the turf in his last race at Turf Paradise and wins 25% of his turf starts. And then number 1, NK Rocket Man. He does well at Turf Paradise.
North Korea Rocket Man, Little John Kim in whatever. Kim Kong-un, yes. The North Carolina Rocket Man.
He does well at Turf Paradise and at the distance and on the turf.
Rocket Man. So Jared says he had a 45-1 for second at Evangeline Downs. So we did Evangeline Downs last Wednesday. And Jared was furious. He's swearing up and down. And he's never, ever, kind of like someone who went out drinking and woke up the next day hugging the toilet. I'm never going to play that track again. But he loves it and goes back there, right?
Yeah.
Rich, I'm going to try to use the one at Parks in 6 furlongs today. Race 2. Let's see if we can beat the trend at the distance. Yeah, that trend there that Charles is talking about at Parks, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Last week, I think it was only 2 out of 93 horses that ran from the rail won. So that's that horse better be a hell of a horse to break that bias. We'll see if tomorrow when we go through the numbers, because Terry and I will be doing Parks tomorrow, if the one horse has started to find maybe a little bit of improvement at that distance. All right, my final selections for today, Terry, number 7, Holy Cross. We've talked a lot about it, but he getting a jockey switch to Harry Hernandez. And what's interesting to me is, we'll get to why that's interesting to me in a second, but Holy Cross did run some better late pace figures last time out. So I love when horses pick it up at the end of a race and run 3 consecutive speed figures. It is interesting to me because Harry gets off my second choice to ride my first choice, Give 'em Heck Beck. And that's despite the fact that Giving Him Heck Beck is taking a decent drop from optional, claiming $20,000. Trainer Brett Hone wins on turf at 26%. So he looks a little bit like a turf specialist to me. Wins at only 20% overall. Still a pretty good rate otherwise. Number 5, Audis ran his best race recently on turf, or some of his best races. If you look back about 2 or 3, 4 starts ago, they were all on turf. They look much better than the ones he's been running on dirt. Has some of the best late pace numbers in the field by a pretty good margin. And this horse is turning around pretty quickly. So the trainer must have saw something he liked, because the horse just ran 10 days ago on April the 1st. And usually when trainers turn horses around that quickly, it's a sign to me. It doesn't always work out, obviously. No betting angle is 100%. But it's a sign to me that the horse came out of the race healthy, maybe didn't use everything he had, and is still ready to go.
Yeah.
And finally, number 6, Meet Joe. Everybody should know a Joe, right? I mean, Joe's got to be the most common name out there. A bunch of my good friends are named Joe. But if you haven't, then you can meet Joe today. Joe is making its first start off the bench in quite some time and has 12 furlongs, a really good workout, getting ready for that spot. And the last race there, then, Terry, ties us up for, let's see. Yeah, you look refreshed, Terry, so you should be good this week. Yeah, Terry looks good. It's that Horse Racing Today shirt, man. I'm telling you, that's what it is, Jared. Makes everybody look good. And that brings us to our final pick 4 of the day, our prime rig pick 4s. We got to do like Jared did, man. We got to go out winners on this one. Jared went out. I'll tell you a quick story. John Paxson hit a shot for the Chicago Bulls to win the championship, right?
Yeah.
The NBA championship. And I was at a local nightclub, and he happened to be in the same bathroom that I was in. And I broke the male washroom protocol. He's standing in the urinal next to me, and you're not supposed to talk to that guy. But I said to him, Paxson, man, congratulations on the shot. Are you going to retire? And he said, why would I retire? And I said, because you just hit the NBA championship winning shot. Your career can only go one way from here, down. Uh-oh. And then actually he said, man, I never thought of it that way. And actually after that, he got hurt and his career went down. So I feel like in some respects I jinxed him by breaking the men's room code.
Ooh, you better not see him in the men's room again.
Never. All right, Terry. So I went 4-4-4-3. You went 4-4-3-4. You're liking that race number 7 as your weak spot. I wanted to go deeper on that last leg because I like to come home with options, but I felt like of the 4 races, that was the one where I could probably get away with only 3 horses. And it's one of the races that you and I agree on 2 of the 3. So I feel even better about that now.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right, just a quick recap. Here are all of our picks for today at Turf Paradise. Again, does not reflect scratches because they were not out when we went live. Our hot dog pick 4 in race 1 looks like this. As I mentioned, our prime ribs look like this. Our box it ups is accurate here. Terry's race number 5, mine's race number 7. Terry's best bet closes the show in race number 8. His long shot is in race number 7. I'm going to start so we're barbelling our long shots and best bets, Terry.
Yeah.
I'm going to start the show with the long shot in race number 1, and then my best bet is in race number 2. So how does it feel to be back, my friend?
Feels great. Feels great. And I'll tell you, if you like what you saw here, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at Horse Race the number 2 Day. Like us on Facebook at Horse Race the number 2 Day, and Instagram at Horse Race the number 2 Day.
And make sure you do that. And again, I'm now on Twitter at HRT Rich, so you can follow me there. I'll see if I can provide some additional insights to some things I've been working on, Terry. I spent most of Saturday and Sunday, since you weren't here to do the stake show, I spent a lot of time reading, a lot of time in the data, and I'm working on some stock market like related things I used to do to try to find better stocks, to try to find horses that might be sitting on a good race that don't look like it in the past performances. So hopefully that'll come. And I have my math genius son helping me on this to try to figure this out. So hopefully we'll be able to uncover some secrets going forward. If you're going to bet at Mahoning Valley today, perhaps you might head on over to guaranteedtipsheet.com. You'll see that it is our free track of the day. They're probably running right now, right?
I would think so, yeah. Yeah.
So in race number 1, the number 3, Promises Forever, was the best bet. So hopefully he makes us look good right off the get-go, Terry.
Yeah, they're just getting in the gate now. So, we're going to see this race probably.
All right. Any final thoughts, Terry, before we get up and out of here on your return to work?
Well, I'm glad to be back to work. Glad to see you again. And I thank Jared for filling in for me. And I hope everybody gives a good shout out to their loved ones. And I hope things over in Europe settle way down. So,
absolutely. Well, we certainly hope that everybody has a fantastic Monday, first day of the week. Good to see Terry again. Nice to have Jared here as well, and everybody else. Charles, I want to say thank you to Matt Wolfson for giving us a thumbs up or liking us on Facebook. If you like what you saw, again, like Terry said, please give us a thumbs up on YouTube, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. When we get to 1,000, and Sean's getting very nervous, Sean's going to have to do his inaugural TikTok dance. We haven't decided yet. I have an idea, though, now, Terry.
Yeah.
Hear me out on this idea. First, it was the flaming chainsaws, right, in a Speedo. Then it was, okay, with his hair growing out, he looks a little like John Belushi. And I wanted to have him reenact that Saturday Night Live skit where he's in the deli and he has a sword and like a toga and he's like chopping up like flying watermelons and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he says he wants to do the Stone Cold Austin thing with the 2 beers, right? Drinking the 2 beers. I think that's way too easy. So here's what the new thing is going to be, Terry.
Okay.
He's going to start out like Stone Cold Steve Austin, right?
Yeah.
And then he's going to rip off then he's going to rip off his shirt. He's going to be a toga in there. And we're going to hand him a sword. And then he's going to chop up the flying things like John Belushi in the deli in the Saturday Night Live skit. And then he's going to rip off the toga and juggle the flaming chainsaws in a Speedo. And then he's going to close it the way he started it with the Stone Cold Steve Austin beer thing. So he's going to do all 3. What do you think about that? That'll break the internet.
That will break the internet. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I could watch all of that. So
absolutely. Well, between here and there, that's going to be a bad day for Sean, but we certainly hope it'll be a great day for you. No matter if you're playing at Parks, trying to have the one beat the distance, beat the bias in 6 furlongs, or you're playing Charles long shots. Like I said, Charles, you got to change that name to E.F. Hutton. So when Charles speaks, you want to listen. And let me just kind of recap. Let me see if I can find his long shots here in the comments again real quick. And then we'll bring them back up. Because like I said, when Charles speaks, you better listen, my friend. So 2 live long shots today at Parks from Charles. Race number 11. He likes the 4 and the 6 to be in your exactas and trifectas, and maybe even on top, and to help close out those pick 3s, pick 4s, that sort of stuff. So whether it's Charles's long shots, the rail horse at 6 furlongs at Parks, or our best bets long shots, box it ups, and pick 4s at Turf Paradise, we hope your day and all your picks. Terry, are you ready?
Yes,
Are you ready?
Yep.
We hope they end up in the
winner's circle.
Absolutely. Have a fantastic Monday. Terry and I will be back tomorrow to do parks. Looking forward to it.